Thank you very much, Josh, and welcome everybody to this presentation. I am, as Josh said, the director of the Master of International Policy and Practice program, and we're also joined by our associate director, Dr. Laila Sorurbakhsh, and Dr. Sorurbakhsh has principal responsibility for the MIPP Online program. And she is also the interim director of online instruction at the Elliott School. So Dr. Sorurbakhsh has been supporting all of our faculty in their efforts to move their courses online during the spring semester. We will also be doing all of our instruction at the Elliott School online this summer. Dr. Sorurbakhsh has also taken the lead in helping develop our Flex Start program, which enables all students who are admitted to the Elliott School to choose whether they would like to begin their studies at the Elliott School on campus, or whether they would prefer to study in the fall semester online and then move to an on-campus setting as of spring 2021. This is a really exciting initiative that we've just announced today, and our thinking is simply that we know that it's a challenging time for everyone, and that we want to be supportive of our incoming students in being able to make the decision that's right for them. And so all of the program directors at the Elliott School have made the decision that for students coming in, whether they be international students who may be concerned about getting a visa or even an airline ticket to come to the US this summer to start in August of this year, or for domestic students who may, for whatever reason, prefer an online option in the fall semester rather than moving to DC in the middle of a pandemic, that this is an option that will work for everybody. Now, the thing about our new Flex Start option at the Elliott School is that it, in fact, incorporates a lot of the online courses that we have developed for our new MIPP Online option, which we initiated in the fall of 2018. And we have made considerable headway over the past year in aligning the requirements of MIPP on campus and MIPP online in a way that will enable every MIPP student, regardless of whether you are an on-campus student or an online student, to have the flexibility to choose to study either on campus or online throughout your coursework. MIPP, as you know, is a very special program. It's a program designed for accomplished mid-career practitioners. Typically, our MIPP students have either 8 years of professional experience, or they have a prior advanced degree, and in many cases, people have both. So if you have a law degree or a business degree, and you, or even a PhD, and you want to take the MIPP program, you can do so without the 8 years of experience. But otherwise, most of our people are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes even in their 60s. People have reached a stage in their professional development at which point it makes sense to get a new policy-focused degree. And what we aim to do with the MIPP degree is to support your professional advancement either in your current field or through a transition to a new career. We want to help people build expertise in a self-designed specialization in international public policy, and we want to also help people forge professional networks and entrepreneurial skills. So it's a degree that provides people technical expertise, policy expertise, but also we focus a very great deal on leadership expertise. I'd like to turn this slide over to my colleague, Dr. Sorurbakhsh, and perhaps she could talk a little bit about the key themes of our program and about how the MIPP program is designed in order to help people move to the next level in their professional development. Dr. Sorurbakhsh?
Sure, thanks, Matt. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. My name is Dr. Laila Sorurbakhsh, and I am the Associate Director of the International Policy and Practice Program. Through the Flex Start program and also through just traditional MIPP Online, most of you will be taking me in your first semester in your core class, which is the Strategy and Leadership class. The Strategy and Leadership class is one of 3 core courses that we have as part of our program, with the second being the Leadership Capstone, and the third being Econ Tools for Global Policy. And these three core courses really do sort of embody the key themes that permeate throughout the program. And those themes you see here, that of collaborative leadership, data analysis, and strategic design, are taken into focus in those 3 core courses. So the idea of collaborative leadership, without getting too far into it, is the idea that, in order to be a global leader, you want to create as much buy-in as possible. Too often we see policy decisions being taken just from a unilateral place, and without fully understanding the needs and the desires of the people who are involved, and also in understanding the problem holistically. Sometimes policy design can be, not necessarily as best or as strong as it could be. And so that kind of takes in the third key theme that you see here, which is that of strategic design. So one of the other items that we focus on is in sort of creating your policy recommendations and in evaluating policy. One of the key things to remember is strategy, right? What is the purpose of the policy? What is the end goal that it is trying to serve? And are the policies that are being developed, are they actually serving the goals that they had intended to? And so focusing on this idea of strategic design allows us to take policy development and policy making really to the next level, to help serve all communities as opposed to just targeted ones. And finally, with the data analysis piece, you're able to assess and monitor policy a little bit more closely. Being able to have a particular a skill set and tools in your repertoire to be able to assess these policies is really crucial, not only whenever you're designing the policy itself, but also when you're checking back in to make sure that the policy was implemented, with a view to the original goals, and if for whatever reason the policy would need to be adapted or changed to fit or realign itself with the goals. So these 3 key themes, again, taken into your core classes, are sort of the foundational themes that carry over into your particular electives and into your particular specializations. So with that, I will turn over the rest of the presentation back to Matt.
Thank you so much, Laila. And let me just summarize very briefly what I think is special about the MIPP program in our approach to leadership. There are, of course, many programs in public policy, in management, and in other fields that focus on leadership skills. And we do indeed focus on leadership skills in terms of what are the attributes of an effective leader, what's the communication style of an effective leader, and so forth and so on. But true leadership requires not only that you can move people in a given direction, getting them to do something that they would otherwise not be doing without your direction, but also that you'd be moving them in the right direction. And so we focus a great deal on really the questions of how do you analyze the situation, how do you analyze the terrain in terms of potential obstacles, in terms of opportunities for coalition building, and how do you design a process of change and a program of change that really is well fitted to addressing the challenge that you've identified. And therefore, we need to be looking at the ethical dimensions of your decision. We need to be doing scenario analysis. We need to be identifying an appropriate change. We need to be rigorously monitoring and evaluating the process of implementing the proposed change. And so this holistic approach that helps you improve not only your own personal attributes as a leader, but also your ability to grasp the larger strategic context and work to make constructive change happen is really something that's very distinctive about the MIPP program. Now, let me talk a little bit about our curriculum. Our curriculum is highly flexible. We allow you access to a wide range of course offerings, both at the Elliott School and at other graduate programs at George Washington, including the law school, the business school, the School of Public Policy, the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences. In addition to that, you can even take courses at our consortium universities in the Washington, D.C. area, including Georgetown University, American University, George Mason University, and the University of Maryland. Our classes are typically held in the evenings, which is ideal for working professionals. For our on-campus classes, most classes meet one night a week, Monday through Thursday, either 5 to 7 or 7 to 9 p.m. And for our online classes, we also have live synchronous sessions in the evening. Those are typically 1 hour once a week in combination with a lot of asynchronous material. The program is an accelerated program. Unlike our 2-year MA programs, this is a 3-semester program for those people who take it, who go full-time. So 9 credits or 3 courses per semester, 27 credits total. If you go full-time, you can finish typically within 12 to 16 months, depending on whether you study in the summer. And there's also a part-time option. We don't distinguish in terms of our admissions or our program administration between those people who are studying part-time or full-time. You also have the option to study full-time initially and then part-time or vice versa. And given that we have aligned the requirements of the online and on-campus program, you also are completely flexible in this program as to whether you want to take some of your courses in any given semester on campus and others online, or to begin as an on-campus student and then go online, or vice versa. So that given the fact that many of our participants are people who are highly successful professionals working for government agencies or other organizations, people who may have extensive travel requirements, although obviously these days not quite as many travel requirements as has been the case in the past. You could, for example, know that you're going to be in sub-Saharan Africa for a month during one semester of your program, and you might choose to do online classes that semester, whereas you'd be doing on-campus classes in your other semesters. We also do a lot of cohort events throughout the year, providing opportunities for professional networking. We like to do happy hours. We do parties. Sometime I do an annual party on the rooftop of my apartment building. We've been doing a retreat every semester in recent semesters. And that brings together other students, alumni, faculty, and guest speakers. So we really like to build a very vibrant community among among MIPP students and alumni. Now, I mentioned that we have 3 core courses, strategy and leadership, leadership capstone, and then our international economics course. And I would actually like to turn the floor back over to Dr. Sorurbakhsh, if you don't mind, just to talk a little bit about the structure of this core course program.
Sure, and I spent a little bit of time talking about this already, so we don't need to go too in depth here. But essentially, the strategy and leadership course, as well as the leadership capstone course, are taken almost as a sequence of courses. And in these 2 courses, you will actually have the opportunity to develop your passion project. So what I always tell my students in the very first week of class is to think of a problem, whether it's in the world or whether it's something personal that is really bothering you, something that keeps you up at night. And then through a research design process, we take it as sort of an investigatory look into that particular problem and come up with any sort of recommendations based on the literature and based on research that has been done before. By the end of the leadership capstone class, which is the second in the sequence, you will have a fully developed project proposal that then in turn you could actually take into the Econ Tools for Global Policy class and be able to analyze using real data, either that you have acquired or data that has already been established in the literature. So it's a really great opportunity to investigate some problem or some sort of solution and make recommendations, strategic recommendations based on whatever it is that you are proposing.
Thanks very much, Laila. And so here are some examples of some recent leadership capstone topics. The first one is one that was actually done by the Ethiopian ambassador to Japan, who happens to be a student in MIPP Online. And it was a program to establish a system of long-term work visas for skilled workers from Ethiopia, which has a large number of university graduates who don't have job opportunities commensurate with their abilities in Ethiopia. And so the notion here is to strengthen economic relationships between Ethiopia and Japan. And this is a project that's gotten strong support from both the Japanese Foreign Ministry and from the Ethiopian government. Another project that has actually been implemented in part by the U.S. Army focuses on enhancing partner nation security capacity through professionalizing the non-commissioned officer corps. Our graduate Major J.B. Bissell, who's a foreign area officer to Latin America, wrote this proposal about 5 years ago, and it's subsequently been implemented in, I believe, Chile and Japan. But we also have things that are more in the realm of NGO work, such as the Birth Wisdom Bank, a project to improve midwifery practices in indigenous communities in Peru. Another project to reduce air pollution in Mongolia through a collaborative initiative involving the Mongolian government and international funders. And so these topics just, I think, illustrate the rich range of opportunities that people can pursue in their projects. And the challenge is not only to identify the problem and a solution for addressing it, but also to build the necessary networks that will enable you to find your way into not only addressing a passion project, but ideally also moving to be able to implement that, to find an outlet for your passions in your work. Now, let me go on and talk very briefly about this remaining material, because I want to leave plenty of time for questions and answers. In addition to the 9 credits of core courses, you have 18 credits of elective coursework. And so this, as I said, gives you just a huge amount of flexibility. You can take courses across George Washington University or at consortium universities. You can take up to 3 credits of professional skills workshops, which are typically 1-credit courses each. And the courses, as long as I or Dr. Sorurbakhsh concur with your plan, we're very happy to have you pursue your interests in a way that will really meet your own intellectual and professional needs. Now, so here are just a few sample examples of types of specializations that people have chosen in the past. Security issues, environmental issues, development issues, and diplomatic issues. So there's just a wide range of possibilities, and these are just a few selected examples. In terms of on-campus electives, here again are just some examples of areas that you can pursue in your elective coursework. You can focus on any of the areas of regional studies. You can focus on cybersecurity, environmental and energy policy, intelligence, development, economic affairs, technology policy, and so forth and so on. Now, in the realm of online coursework, we also have a robust selection of courses, which we are building up. We're developing a significant number of courses every semester, and Dr. Sorurbakhsh perhaps could talk a little bit more about this issue.
Sure, thanks, Matt. So effectively, prior to sort of the flex option being available, we were developing courses at a rate of 6 new courses every semester. But effectively, what the flex option allows us to do now is across programs, whichever programs we are helping to produce, those are now also available to our MIPP online students and our MIPP face-to-face students should they wish to take online courses. So this long list of electives has effectively doubled just in the past couple of weeks. So if there is a particular interest area that you would like to focus on, please let me know and I can help to identify some of those classes that will be available in the fall.
Thanks a lot. And beyond the on-campus and online coursework, we also have a range of short-term on-campus and study abroad programs. We have an on-campus U.S. foreign policy course, which is 2 weeks at the Elliott School. We've run courses in the past in Israel on cybersecurity, in Egypt on issues of state and society in contemporary Egypt. There's a great international human rights law program run by in partnership between the GW Law School and Oxford University called the International Human Rights Law Program. So these vary from year to year, but we'd be happy to give you more details if you want to give us a call or send us an email. And that's about it. I wanted to end up early, so we had plenty of time for Q&A, but we can certainly circle back to any of the previous slides if anybody has questions that you'd like to raise. So Josh, I take it that you're managing the chat line. Would you like to lead us through?
Sure, whichever is easiest. I can definitely read questions and help moderate the questions as they come through. So once again, just like Dr. Levinger mentioned, please feel free to type any questions in the chat window in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, and either Dr. Levinger or Dr. Sorurbakhsh can help answer any questions that you have. So we'll just hang tight here for a couple moments while you're typing in your questions. Oh, one just came through. So the first one is when should students be compiling/completing proposals for self-specialization?
Let me take a first crack at answering that question, Juan, and I will also ask Laila for her views on this. I would recommend that you start right away because ideally in applying for the MIPP program, you have you're coming back to school for a reason. People who are making this decision to enroll in MIPP are people who have a sense of the direction that they want to pursue in their careers, and this is a bridge to help you move from where you are today to where you want to be in a strategic leadership role in a field of your choice. And so you can start browsing around, looking at our catalog of courses, and start to think about what really is most exciting to you. The problem 9 times out of 10 is not that people can't find courses that they're interested in, but that there are so many courses that interest you that it's a question of winnowing it down to just a series of 6 electives. And so if you start to engage in that process, just looking at our GW course catalog, you can look at our website to get some sense of the range of possible options. Then you can begin a conversation with me or with Dr. Sorurbakhsh, and we will help you in your efforts to shape your thinking about those projects or about that specialization. But typically people come in with a preliminary list of courses that they want to take, but then that's a work in progress, and we're happy to have you change your mind as you move along from semester to semester. The goal is simply that you come up with a coherent specialization that really advances your intellectual and professional interests.
And just to chime in, we've been working with students, long before the actual start date of their program. So there have been a few students who have actually reached out already about potential courses and potential specializations to take when they start in the fall. So we're very happy to start that conversation with you, as soon as possible. Or, alternatively, if you would like to wait until you actually begin the program, sort of get a feel for your classes, get a feel for your professors, that's also perfectly fine. So there's definitely no pressure to reach out to us beforehand, but it might be a good idea to just kind of start browsing around the way Dr. Levinger suggests. Josh, have you shared the Flex Start program website with the students also?
I have not. As of about an hour ago, I'm not sure if it has actually been created yet, so it's still in the process. If I have Nicole tuning in as well, so if anything has changed or been updated on that, I'll have her mention in the chat window if that has been updated.
Yes. It has been updated because I made the last edit to it, and that was this morning, and Nicole just shared it into the chat box. So if you guys want to take a look at this, effectively all of the courses that are listed under the all across all programs are effectively classes that have been committed to being offered online in the fall. So if you take a look at those under the MIPP course lists, you'll see, two of 3 of our core courses. The only reason why Leadership Capstone isn't listed there is because we expect to take that in the 2nd semester. But then you'll see a full list of course electives. All of those are available online, and feasibly so, any of the other program options are also available to online students.
So in addition to that, kind of a very similar question in terms of developing the self-specialization, our next question is, at what point should students reach out to you to design the entire course plan? Is that kind of a similar time frame, or would you suggest waiting until fall semester?
Well, you can reach out to us anytime. The deadline is that for your program of study, you need to submit that by October 15th if you enroll in August. It may have been moved up to October 1st, I'm not sure. But in any case, you have plenty of time at the beginning of the semester to sort that out. But in terms of, but I'd recommend initiating a conversation sooner rather than later, simply because you need to make some decisions about your fall classes. I just wanted to jump ahead. I know you have a lot of questions coming in, but there was one question about whether you can enroll in the summer semester. That's something I think for Josh and his colleagues to talk with you about the procedure. But yes, you can, in fact, if you've been admitted for the fall, you can work with the admissions program department to get your start date moved up until May. So is that correct, Josh?
Correct. Yeah, they'll just want to reach out to us in the graduate admissions office. So if you're thinking about starting in summer versus fall, please email us at esiagrad@gwu.edu. We'll put that in the chat window. So if you do have any questions about starting summer versus fall, please email us and we can help you work through that.
Thanks.
All right, so the next question we have is there any specific information available regarding international students starting online in the fall and moving to on-campus in the spring?
Yes, international students can start online in the fall and then move to campus in the spring, provided you get your appropriate visa. Dr. Sorurbakhsh, do you want to answer that one?
Sure, and this is also some information that can be found on that Flex Start webpage, the one that Nicole shared not long ago. But there's some information there for international students. And then any questions as far as visas go, et cetera, those are questions that you can funnel over to the grad admissions department. And so Mindy in the chat, she actually just shared that email address, the esiagrad@gw.edu, I think is a really good resource. So.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have a couple questions kind of all in one here. So as an admitted student to the in-person MIPP program starting this fall, can you speak more about what GWU is doing regarding, one, preparing for the program, both courses and networking to be online, and two, revising policies and deadlines in response to the pending acceptance deadline, and yet continuing uncertainty on what the program can be in person, or when the program can be in person. So I guess looking more at that Flex program about preparing for the degree and courses and networking to be online, and also can you describe a little bit more about the revising policies and deadlines in response to the pending acceptance deadline?
I think that on the acceptance deadline, this is an issue that you should address with the admissions office. But frankly, I would also encourage you, if you have concerns about that, to reach out directly to me and Dr. Sorurbakhsh, and we may be able to help you navigate some of these issues. And I'm just putting up the slide with my contact information, although frankly, yeah, well, I still get voicemail through my office phone, so you can just use that phone number. But email is probably the best, both for me and for Dr. Sorurbakhsh. In terms of the online socializing, as I said, we have a very robust program of social events and academic events, and that's something that you know we're still in the very early stages of navigating new mores of pandemics, but we're trying to figure out if this is an extended period of self-isolation of how we can develop strategies to really continue to maintain and build community. Virtual happy hours may not be quite as great as person-to-person happy hours, but we'll figure out a path forward. And on the academic side, I'm going to ask Dr. Sorurbakhsh to comment.
Sure. And actually, what's really wonderful about the MIPP program is that since we have also been fully online since 2018, our program has been sort of the lead in finding some of the resources that students can use online. So essentially, every resource that is available to an on-campus student is also available to an online student. So one thing you'll notice whenever you start your classes in the MIPP program, in our Blackboard course shell, we have already listed every single course, links to library contacts, links to the Writing Center, links to financial aid, et cetera, et cetera. So every single resource that you could potentially need would be available to you as an online learner as well. So we've really developed a full suite of services, not just for students in the face-to-face program, but also online.
And I think we have time for just one more question. So the last question I see here is, are there any seminars, workshops, et cetera, for MIPP students to get back up to speed on research skills or writing papers, as this area has changed since most of us were in school?
Dr. Sorurbakhsh?
Sure. So that's a really great question. If you reach out to me after this, I could share some resources with you. But I also want to just reassure you that all of the skills that are necessary to really complete these courses successfully will be talked about and will be fully developed in the class. So, one of the things that I think the students really appreciate is that we understand that, coming back to school is not always easy. And so we're really, really willing to work with students, particularly in sort of reacclimating back into, the graduate experience, but also to kind of manage expectations that there is a learning curve, and in some aspects, learning to do research and learning the research design process is almost like learning a new language. So being really patient, being really flexible, and at the same time giving you the best possible instruction is really going to solidify your success. And at the end of the day, that is Dr. Levinger and I's number one concern is, making sure that our students are as successful as possible. So yes, please feel free to reach out to me if you would like some added resources just to prepare. But I assure you that, there is no background preparation necessary. We take all of that development in the classes themselves.
Thanks so much, Laila, and I just want to reiterate that we are committed to your success. We expect you to work hard, but we want to help you find the path to moving to the next stage of your career. We want you to become leaders in your fields, and we've designed the program in a way that's intended to help people who have been out of the classroom for a number of years be able to really thrive in a policy leadership environment. Now, I'm sorry that we haven't had a chance to get to all of the questions. I am going to ask that that Josh and his colleagues forward to Laila and me the questions that we haven't had a chance to answer. But I just do want to stress, we know this is a very, very challenging time. A tremendous amount of uncertainty. What we're trying to do is to give you the options to be successful either in an on-campus or an online environment. We want to put you in control of your learning program, and we're committed to being flexible in order to help you meet your objectives in a time that's very challenging. But frankly, this is a time in which what's going on around us at this historical moment has demonstrated very, very vividly the critical importance of international leadership. And we want to help you be able to thrive in whatever environment you're contending with. So with that, I guess I'll turn the floor back over to Josh.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Levinger and Dr. Sorurbakhsh, for providing this very informative overview of the International Policy and Practice Program. If any attendee has any questions for Dr. Levinger or Dr. Sorurbakhsh about the degree program, their email addresses and phone numbers are on this slide, so please feel free to contact them with any questions, or feel free to contact us at esiagrad@gwu.edu with any questions about your admissions or moving over your start term from fall to spring, or sorry, from fall to summer.